Chance, are we? No. We are here by what? Divine appointment. And I say that for our viewing audience as well, that you just don't tune in by chance. That when we are ready, the information, the energy shows up, it arises. And what happens is we start the path. And what I know and what has been true for me, in the moment that I knew that it was 6:30 on my evolutionary clock, was the moment I knew I could never go back to the way that it was, because I knew the difference. We are all at choice. This is why I love our way of life, and this is also why we are so frustrated at times, because we do know that we are at choice. And when we go through the challenges, the upsets, and the difficulties, we want to look outside of ourselves and say this, and the other. But the truth is, those are the lessons we call in to grow and unfold in miraculous ways. So the whole month is on the biology of spirit, that there is purpose in protoplasm. Today we're talking about body, mind, and purpose, that the DNA of God flows through our veins, and we show up in this lifetime to fulfill our destiny. As we fulfill our destiny, something begins to happen. And as it begins to happen and unfold for us, energetically, that moment where we know that we know that we know. Have you ever been there? Where you absolutely knew, and not, I always say not even the gates of hell can prevail against us, but no matter what anyone says, we know that we know that we know. And it's a process. We start out very hopeful. And Dr. Holmes said that hope on one level, it's good. It springs eternal within the human heart. But when it's about our Father, Mother, God's business, it's a subtle illusion. It's an unconscious compromise. So we move from hope to belief. Belief is good. We believe in things. We have that knowingness within our heart. From belief, we then move into faith. The faith of a grain of mustard seed that can say to this experience, remove hence. And it does, because with God, our higher power, all things are possible. And the little kicker in there, to them that believe, to them that have faith, and we'll take it to them that know. We say to this mountain, this experience, this challenge, this upset, this difficulty, remove hence, and it does. Because with God, all things are possible. To them that believe, that have faith, that have knowingness. I saw a cute little cartoon. It's a little girl, and she's looking, at her mom, and she goes, Mama, what's normal? And she says, oh, honey, it's just a setting on the dryer. Right? Yeah. It's really interesting how that works, isn't it? Because I was certainly not raised in what I looked out, and saw Ozzie and Harriet and the Beavers. My family certainly wasn't like that, but it was the energy that I needed to go within to the secret place of the Most High, to pray to my Father, Mother, God in secret, and to know that I would be acknowledged openly. But during those years, it felt like I just don't belong here. I'm not like anybody in my family. How did this happen? They made a mistake. And, it's so interesting because Clarissa Pinkola Estes, she's a wonderful writer. And she said that there's a story about the stork, and it hit some turbulence. And some of the little zygotes fell out into the wrong homes. It was supposed to be 2 blocks down to the nice family, but somehow it fell out. And I always kind of felt that way, energetically. And the truth is, these are the experiences that allow us to go within and to make new choices. My daughter says, Mother, I cannot relate to anything in your childhood. And I said, thank God. I did a better job than they did, right? That I learned something. And it was getting into this way of life at about 22 years old and taking science of mind classes, realizing that I was cause in my life, and that was a very hard one. The most difficult thing in the world, when we look at purpose and protoplasm, energetically, is that we choose every single experience on some level. And This is for the soul's growth and unfoldment, because we ask ourselves, why am I here? What is it that I'm given to do? What is my destiny? But when we do what makes our heart sing, no matter what we're doing, and I really don't believe that anyone is retired either, because we have a responsibility to the universal collective consciousness, and that we're out in the world of conditions and appearances and effects. And as we're letting our light shine, others are being healed and uplifted in our presence. That's what I love about our way of life. I had the opportunity to see and to experience Dr. Emoto, who wrote The Message in Water, where for years he would take a petri dish and he would take a little eyedropper and he would drop it into this petri dish. And what happened was that he would have people project their thoughts into the petri dish. And what happened is, as they projected love, thank you, welcome, if they said the word Mother Teresa, this little water would turn into a perfect, beautiful crystal, like a snow, the snow crystal. And then he would have them project negative words like, I hate you, and I want to kill you, and Hitler. And it would go into a mass. It would go into such a blobby mass, and didn't form into the beautiful crystallization and the energy of Christ consciousness, of higher realms. Protoplasm, yes, purpose in protoplasm, the divine DNA. And he said when he finally got his result after several years, he sat at his desk and he wept. He was so thrilled to have before him on a scientific level what he'd always known spiritually within his consciousness and within his heart. So as we begin to project energetically the thoughts, the words, the deeds, the energy that we want to experience in the universal collective, and not have to react to the things outside of us. And there's plenty to react to, don't you agree? We could be reacting all day long. Just turn on the news. I mean, it's amazing. I don't turn on the news. I just, I go on the internet and I get a sense of what's happening. And then I go into a spiritual treatment, acknowledging that there is a power and a presence on the planet, there is a foundation, there is an energy, that we are uplifted through the appearance, the conditions and effects that no longer serve us individually, collectively, and as a planet. And our global community, and the finned ones below, the winged ones above. Isn't it interesting, if you've studied the string theory, that we are all intimately connected? But Chief Seattle knew that. He said life is a web, and each of us a strand on the web. And what we do to the individual strand, we do eventually to the web of life. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand on it. The scientists get in together in their scientific community and they talk about the string theory and the interconnectedness. Quantum physicists absolutely purport this way of life, that we are all intimately connected. There is the God particle. And today, as we look at body, mind, and purpose, that our divine purpose is to do what makes our heart sing, to put that energy out into the universal collective, to acknowledge that this is why we are here. Joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. Joy. So if you want a barometer, if you're in your ego or not, are you experiencing joy? And if we are experiencing joy, and we are allowing ourselves to be as the little child. And it was interesting, this week I was at the desert, the Living Desert, and we were viewing all the beautiful little animals, and I'm very much into animal allies, and we went and we saw the porcupines. And my daughter said, I know, Mother, you loved it, you love the feather from the eagle, you love, the energy. I mean, we went to Cabo San Lucas one time, and I said, oh, look at these rocks. Oh, the sermons and stones, feel the energy. She said, Mom, can a rock just be a rock? No, it's living energy. So she said, Mom, look there's a porcupine quill just for you. So it was like right down there, but here's the fence, right? So she kind of leans over with her backpack on and proceeds to fall over, and I grab her by her knees, and she gets me this quill. And if you look at porcupine medicine, The ancients believed that the porcupine was innocent, and that there was a faith and a trust within the porcupine energy, the porcupine medicine, and to be as a little child. And the ancient legend is that porcupine taught bear how to experience life in a trusting way with faith, and not always have to be the bear. Because, you know, energetically we say, God, was you ever a bear this morning? You know, we're laying it on bear, right? But the truth is, porcupine taught bear that there is trust, and there is energy, and innocence, and aliveness. And so this is my little gift from the living desert. And as I looked around, I thought, everything is such a miracle. Energetically, that there you look into an animal's eyes and you feel that oneness, that there is a divine soul. And it's interesting because I saw a short film on the Spiritual Cinema Circle, and it was about a husband who wanted his wife to boil the lobster. And she looked at the lobster, she goes, this lobster has a soul. He goes, oh, now I've heard everything. No, just put it in the boiling water, the folks are gonna be over, you know, just, this lobster does not have a soul. And then they called their dog over. And the dog came running over, Rover, and said, what do you think? And he kind of sniffed it and ran back. He said, see, this lobster does not have a soul. And then the dog came back, Rover came back with a ball, and he put it right in front of the lobster. Oh. Okay, maybe there's an energy here that I didn't quite know about. And so the dog, it was so interesting, the dog was playing with the lobster. And then he scooted the ball, and it kind of went up in the air and down. And with one, you know, caught the ball with that wonderful little lobster leg. And energetically, pardon?
Oh, I just like tore that ball to shreds.
No, not really. Didn't really tear it up at all, just went, you know, played with the dog. So energetically, we all have a soul, every living thing. And the ancient one said, the rock people that share their sermons and stones, that there is a divine connection within all life. And as we begin to respect everything, as we begin to open ourselves up and recognize that we focus this energy even on a little tiny eye drop of water, that it forms into a crystallization of light and love and energy. That we are given the opportunity every single day of our lives to make a new choice. And through that new choice, to open ourselves up to a deepening of the spiritual reality of life and our oneness. Wednesday Night Live, we had the Sikh community here, and it was wonderful to hear this young woman who was a senior in high school give a PowerPoint presentation about her faith, that they believe that all paths that lead to God are good, that we were all one. And to see, you know, in our wonderful audience, you know, all the turbans and the energy of the Punjabis, and the differences and similarities. And I said, you know, we're all saying the same thing. And what was so wonderful, someone said, you know, we see someone with a turban and we immediately think terrorist. And I said, isn't that interesting how that works? To see beyond that, to the truth of being, to our oneness, to the beauty that's there within every living thing, to see past all of the things that separate us to those things that allow us and bring us in, those things with this divine protoplasm, that when there is a diagnosis, that there is another energy at work within us. And as we begin to know that there is another energy at work in us, whether it's we're feeling depressed or sad, or there's something going on in our body, I believe the medical community is there to support us as much as the medical community can. But what we know is that we must take responsibility for our own health, our own life, our own unfoldment, as it were. And what I know, and what has worked for me in my life, is that when I'm at a lower energy vibratory frequency, that I go within to the secret place of the Most High. That I recognize that there is a power and a presence within me. And that for a while, if we're feeling sad, to be with that energy, because we're part of the human condition. And to feel, and I mean to really feel it. And then to move past it, to say, is there anything I can do about it? If so, what is it? What can I, as an individual, do? That I can sit. They also serve, who only stand and wait. That energy that allows us to know the truth, to be free, to recognize this day in whom we live and move and have our being. And never to get tired of it, because I know sometimes we think, oh, this just doesn't seem to work. It always is working. It works the way that we work it. And the minute we see ourselves doing that, is that moment we have to say, this is not about my divine purpose. My divine purpose is to be here totally and completely 100%. And that when I can't be that, then to sit and meditate and to let it all go. Because I see certain things that occur that bring things up from my childhood, and there's a wave of sadness. And I just think there's a lot of work to do on the planet. And that I'll do what I can where I am with the tools that I have. And in doing that, someone is going to understand and feel that energy of caring. I saw a man today who didn't have a smile, so I gave him one of mine. There is always something that we can do. There's always something that we can give. So when we look at body, mind, and purpose, why we are here, what makes your heart sing? What gives you joy? What allows you to know that you're making a difference? That every single day of our lives is about making a difference on that level. That everything has a soul. Every living thing has a soul, even the inanimate. That's why it's important to bless our cars, our vehicles, our washing machines, all of our appliances, our computer, when it's acting up, to bless it, to just leave it alone for a while and come back to it and realize that there is a divine unfoldment in this, that, you know, we feel like cursing it, but we need to bless it because we're going to get more of the same, because it's all energy, right? And we all do that. And so it's just about blessing it, getting away from it, coming back to it, and realizing that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are. We can use it. There is an innocence and a trust and a beauty in life. There's an opportunity that we have to serve each other at such a deep level, to see, to really see, to say, I see you. I know who you are. You know who I am. And it's through this oneness that we arise triumphant and victorious over the everyday experiences. So today I greet you not quite as the world greets you, but with profound esteem and a realization that we are one. Do you feel that oneness?
Yes.
Yes, we feel that oneness. And as we feel that oneness, we connect with God as our source. And let's say that together. God is my source. God is my source. Do you feel that energy that allows us to feel at the center of our being, God is my source? One more time.
God is my source.
And so it is. And what I know is, what? We are going higher yet. And so it is. God bless you.